Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole flock of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Got to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua, it's Yahweh Shah. So we got to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, bishops and elders, a great millstone, rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, ready, accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the occupant pushing the truth and believing in truth, but the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the whole elect. And shalom to the Aqua who are listening and learning, you few sisters who are listening and learning. Mazai from Jim Messolano came coming at you on the lesson. In truth, facts, faith, and edification, another day of edification, Lord willing, this be edifying. And this is part 2. The victuals are being contaminated purposely. The Lord willing, be edifying. Now, on part 1, I went into this article about how the FDA just approved clone chicken meat to be produced. So I want to play this. I'm gonna get some precepts because this is a man-made famine being created by the so-called white man through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah. So Lord wasn't be edifying.
Don't you think it's strange that thousands upon thousands of cattle heads are simply vanishing from our food supply chains every week? Ranchers are warning America that a meat recession is coming as our beef cattle herd continues to shrink by large numbers. A major sell-off this summer has led to the liquidation of countless livestock herds, but the mass slaughter hasn't stopped during the fall, and it is in fact at historical highs for this time of the year. Now, farmers are telling us that it'll take years for supplies to come back to normal levels, and this means we'll have to get used to paying much more expensive prices for meat from now on. This situation is triggering widespread alarm across the food industry, and in today's video, we're going to investigate what's driving the silent collapse of the largest agricultural industry in the United States. But before moving on, please support our work with a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Throughout the entire year, we've all seen and felt the steep price increases of our favorite meats. But those spikes weren't solely caused by supply chain problems and inflationary pressures. A convergence of many disruptions has made farmers and ranchers deal with some of the toughest conditions for livestock raising in more than a decade, and they're telling us it'll take several years to rebuild our national cattle production. According to the USDA, cattle production is the most important agricultural industry of our country, consistently accounting for the largest share of total cash receipts for agricultural commodities every year. On top of having the world's largest fed cattle industry, the United States is also the world's largest consumer of beef, primarily high-value, grain-fed beef. Given that grain prices have risen between 40% and 70% so far this year, that's been a huge problem for farmers who were already coping with higher costs of hay, farming equipment, fertilizers, diesel, raw materials, and other commodities. As we move closer to the holidays, fears of a meat recession continue to grow. In a recent publication to clients, meat distributor Good Ranchers warned that a meat recession is knocking and supply is about to be tight as the U.S. cattle herd continues to decline. The cattle herd has shrunk due to droughts, Good Ranchers wrote. Our total meat supply for the coming year is down significantly. This is one of the main reasons a meat recession is coming. Many other factors are also contributing to this crunch. The truth is that way before ranchers witnessed the worst drought, and the most intense heat waves in over a century during the summer, the U.S. beef cattle herd has been decreasing. The National Agricultural Statistics Service reported that of January the 1st, 2022, the herd was down by 2.6 million cattle head compared to the same period a year earlier. That marked the third consecutive year of declines, and it was the smallest count since 2016, at only 91.9 million cattle head. In April, way before scorching temperatures started to dry up water reserves and burn grass, North Star commodity market analyst Mark Schultz revealed that cow liquidation was about 9% to 9.5% higher than a year prior, and that meant that the daily cattle slaughter was at 126,000 to 128,000 head range. In the summer months, things have gotten exponentially worse, with drought impacting the vast majority of U.S. farmland and particularly affecting Texas ranches. An unprecedented sell-off started to take place due to the lack of water, high feed prices, and financial pressures weighing on farmers and ranchers. Not only Texas herds have shrunk, though, cattlemen from all around the nation have been forced to either put their animals for sale early or risk seeing them dying due to the extreme weather conditions. Many herds were sold to markets when they normally wouldn't be brought for years. Breeders were also culling more unbred female cattle at a faster pace, which effectively reduces the supply of future animals to slaughter, as explained by Walter Kunish, the senior commodity strategist at Hilltop Securities. Those future breeding animals have been liquidated, he stressed. By July 1st, the volume of cattle going to auction was up about 20% from the same time in 2021, and the proportion of the animals over 600 pounds was way below normal, according to data compiled by Daryl Peel, a livestock marketing specialist with Oklahoma State University Extension. Selling off cattle is fine if our ability to replace the herd quickly isn't compromised, which was not the case. Peel points out that at that point, replacement heifers, the young, future calf-producing cows, were at their lowest point nationally since USDA began keeping numbers in 1973. The beef cattle market isn't something that turns on a dime, highlights David Anderson, AgriLife Extension economist in the Texas A&M Department of Agricultural Economics. It takes time. Cattle are a long-term cycle, and I suspect this will all play out similarly to the years following the 2011 drought. We could be looking at a lengthier recovery than the 2011 droughts imposed on the market. Scarcity and steep prices are still on the horizon, added Peel. Even though cattle herds can be reduced in the span of a few weeks, rebuilding them takes several years. In the first few months of mass slaughter, beef supplies increase as additional animals are sent to packing plants, as it seemed to be the case during the summer. Numbers then remained low in the rebuilding phase, as heifers that otherwise would have been slaughtered for meat were held back for breeding, meaning that supplies will remain tight for years and prices will start to surge as a result. In a recent report, Schultz noted that now numbers are getting tighter. I think there's a fair chance before the fourth quarter is over that we'll see perhaps the highest prices of the year happen right at the end of the year, he predicts. But that doesn't mean the rebuilding phase has begun. Considering that even after a recent drop in corn prices, the cost of animal feed continues far more expensive than it used to be in 2021. Ranchers and meat processors are still seeing their profit margins getting squeezed. Feed is the largest cost component of raising a cow for beef. Second comes labor, then fuel and other items. On Monday, Tyson Foods reported weaker than expected earnings, citing that all of these factors have been eating a steadily larger share of their profit margins. Tyson reported that its beef units adjusted operating margins dropped 10.2% in the second quarter, 12.7% in the third quarter, and dropped 22.6% compared to a year earlier, while live cattle costs increased by about $480 million. Margins will decline further from 5% to 7% by the end of 2022, the company said. Consequently, producers are likely to liquidate even more cattle to offset financial losses, said Shane Miller, Tyson Foods president of Fresh Meats, on a conference call following the quarterly results. Margins and meat supplies get a temporary boost as ranchers send more animals to slaughter instead of keeping them to reproduce, he said. But consumers will ultimately be left with less beef. And it takes nearly 2 years to raise a cow once the liquidation stops. In other words, our meat supply will keep going down, driving prices, which are already up between 17% and 22%, to even higher levels. And we're not rebuilding production at the same pace as we're consuming those supplies. And that is worrying food industry executives who have been warning about worsening food shortages for months. In fact, data released by the American Farm Bureau has shown that in the last week of October, U.S. beef cow slaughter has been at the highest level in more than a decade for that period of the year, topping 85,000 head per day, which is about 32,000 head higher than a year ago. The current U.S. cow cull rate is unsustainable, and the debate about 2023 is not whether cow slaughter will be lower next year, but only whether the decline will be in single or double digits, U.S. analyst Len Steiner from Steiner Consulting said last week. Earlier this month, Rabobank beef analyst Lance Zimmerman also started sounding the alarm over the herd contraction in the United States. We are on pace to have a beef cow herd culling rate at 13.5% for this time of the year, he said, representing an all-time record high. We've never seen that high of a culling rate. It's an extreme we are going to have to digest, and it's a paradigm shifter for analysts who earlier this year believed the odds of revisiting inventory lows of 2014 and 2015 were not likely. Well, they look pretty likely now. Zimmerman said Rabobank's analysts are now suggesting that this liquidation phase is much worse than the last one due to high freight costs, which have made it too expensive to ship hay. We just don't have as many tools this time around to deal with the challenges we're facing. The first time we saw this level of liquidation driven by drought, every day you saw hay supplies being shipped to help carry those cow herds. That hay came from all across the country. Today's freight rates won't allow that, Zimmerman said. Moreover, another setback for ranchers may come in the form of taxes on farm animal emissions, according to FAIR. This tax is expected to put direct pressure on farms and ranchers to reduce their emissions by significant margins. For those unfamiliar with this procedure, to cut emissions by large margins, farmers must cut their herd size even further. This tax would be devastating to any farm or ranch trying to make a living for themselves while providing affordable products for others. In some countries, we're already seeing the impact of this. For example, in Germany, farmers are protesting against the emission cuts because without a sizable cattle production, they simply cannot run their operations at a profit. The independent farms and ranches we work with here in America cannot sustain and should not have to sustain such a tax. American agriculture is the heart of our country, and we want to support it in every way we can, good ranchers stressed in the new article. The company also reported that the mass slaughter shows no sign of slowing in November, and with that extraordinary level of liquidation, price pressures are likely to keep meat off the table of many Americans. Higher meat prices are here to stay, said Glenn Brunkow, a farmer who raises cattle and sheep in Kansas. Beef cattle supplies will continue to contract throughout 2023, further pushing up for consumers well into the first half of 2024, Rabobank noted. Americans have already begun buying cheaper cuts of beef this year. This is one of the absolute worst years. I was surprised by the magnitude of losses, Cattle Facts analyst Randy Blake said, forecasting that livestock inventories will continue shrinking and per capita meat consumption will decline by about 6.5% this holiday season. The problem is that when one protein becomes harder to afford or find, people gravitate towards a new one that has a cheaper price and that's easier to access. But with affordable meat nowhere to be found, people are increasingly turning to chicken. But unfortunately, poultry has also been hit by price hikes. With a bird flu outbreak decimating chicken flocks today, we're paying 22% more on chicken and almost 40% more on eggs. Therefore, chicken is also becoming more scarce and more expensive, and Americans are being left with increasingly fewer choices at the stores. Our food supply chain is being disrupted by many different fronts, and the fact that global food executives are saying that meat prices are likely to rise up by the double digits next year does not bring us any relief. Last week, the head of the Meat Industry Association, Hubert Kelliger, said that many farmers are simply giving up production and going bankrupt. In 4, 5, 6 months, we will have nothing on the shelves, predicts Kelliger, saying that meat costs are set to skyrocket in the months ahead. Whether that be 20, 30, or 40% cannot be quantified today, but it will increase significantly again, said Kellinger. Such an increase would already be on the back of already substantial increases consumers faced in 2022. Sadly, even though we're one of the world's largest meat producers, millions of Americans won't be able to access the goods we produce in our country. The cost of food is becoming way too unaffordable for many households out there. And if you thought 2022 was a hard year for your finances, brace for more pain in 2023. Because
And the Lord is using these devils. The Lord is using these devils to bring uh that comfort to an end. So let me get this. As I was going into the first one, the Lord is taking away the comfort, man. Now I want to start with because these devils got this agenda. They call it Agenda 2030, which is the fourth industrial revolution. And Agenda 2030 is them controlling all the resources, which they already do, which they already do. So, but the Agenda 2030, the fourth industrial revolution is them tracking the food. They say from the soil to the fork. Well, the Lord made the world for Israel's sake. So, just as I said yesterday, the Lord made the world for Israel's sake. So, He's finna cause this comfort to be taken away for Israel's sake. So let me get this in Leviticus 26:33. It reads, "And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste." So it said, "I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you." Right? Well, we know this sword is the so-called white man. This is Psalm 17:13. See, this sword of the Lord is these devils, man. Psalm 17:13. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So when it said in Leviticus 26:33, and I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you. You see, so the sword is the so-called white man. So the Lord got him taken away the comfort. So let's go back to this in Isaiah 3 and 1. Because they control all the resources, man. As I read yesterday in Deuteronomy 28 and 48, we got to go to the enemy for the one of all things. Isaiah 3 and 1. For behold, the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, doeth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water. Because the only one that's going to have food and water in that time in Jacob's trouble, as it tell you in Isaiah 65 and 13, is the hopeful elect. So the Lord is causing this comfort to be taken away, man. And who's doing it? It's the sword of the Lord, man. The Lord set these devils up to do this because this is for Israel's sake. In Jeremiah 51 and 25, it reads, Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and will roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. Let me look at the word destroying. See, the Lord is using these devils, man, because everybody else, the heathens, is just collateral damage and casualties of war, man. The Lord is at 2/3 of his people for not wanting to repent, man, not wanting to change.
Strong's H 4889. Mashheath. Mashheath.
See, it's a destroying mountain, right? Corruption, destruction. Look, set a trap, destroying utterly, destructive. Okay? Corruption, destruction, trap, utterly. So this is the one the Lord using to destroy 2/3 of Jake, man. So again, they say, Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith Yahweh, which destroys, all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and will roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. Who's destroying the earth, man? Let's get this one. And I was listening to um Elder Arama from Atlanta, from Alabama, and he went into this, right? The word destroying here in Revelation 11 and 18. Let's read this. The word destroy here. Because just like Jeremiah 51 and 25, it's talking about Esau, Edom, man. Okay? The Job 9 and 24. Revelation 11 and 18 reads, And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, they shall be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, Israelites, the prophets, and to the saints, Israelites, and them that fear thy name, Israelites, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. This word destroy here look this word up. This word destroy right here.
Strong's G 1311. Diaphthyro. Diaphthyro.
See, you got perish, corrupt. See this? To change for the worse, to corrupt. Okay? Of minds, morals, to destroy, ruin, to consume. This devil to change for the worse, man. And that's what they doing, man. They destroying the earth for the worse, man. To rot, look, to rot thoroughly, to ruin, decay utterly. You see? And what the scripture say about these devils in Isaiah 14, man. Okay, let's read that. Let's get that as a matter of fact. Because it said to decay in Isaiah 14, the other nations is going to rejoice against these devils, right? So Isaiah 14, it reads, computer acting slow in the morning. It say, Isaiah 14:11 reads, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worms is spread under thee, the worms cover thee. That's decay, man. Okay? That's what these devils bring to the table. Decay. Because he's a nigger at his table. Now I gotta read this article again because it was showing you in that in that video clip that they destroying the cattle, man. Okay, they wiping away the cattle, they destroying the chicken because they trying to push clone meat all together. Now let me read this article again. Let's go back to this. Because this is what they doing, man. But it's from the Lord. This is FDA. It's from Yahoo News. FDA clears lab-grown meat for human consumption. Again, Thursday, November 17th, 2022. It's a for the first time, the Food and Drug Administration have cleared lab-grown meat created from cultured animal cells for human consumption. The agency announced on Wednesday. Hey, and food is a drug, and drug is a food. I mean, if food is a drug, and yeah, food is a drug, man, and drug is a food. Okay, the Food and Drug Administration, man, everything. Listen, food is a drug, man. It's all chemical. It say the FDA green light applies only to chicken product made by Upside Foods, a California-based company founded in 2015. Though in its announcement, the FDA said it is ready to work with other firms that are developing cultured animal cell food. The agency said that it had evaluated information submitted by the Upside Foods as part of a pre-market consultation, and that it had no further questions at this time about the firm's safety conclusion. The company can begin selling its product after inspection and label approval by the Department of Agriculture. Upside makes cell cultivated meat using biopsies from living animals as well as recently slaughtered animals who were already a part of the food system. It expects these cells to be capable of indefinitely self renewing with a goal of eventually phasing out all animal components. You see, they are doing this purposely, man. An Upside spokesman said in an email statement to Yahoo News that the company is thrilled by the FDA's historical announcement. Cultivated meat has never been closer to the U.S. market than it is today, the spokesman said. You see, it's a Salakia. Hold on, bear with me. It's a the spokesman added that in addition to eliminating the need to raise and slaughter billions of animals, cultivated meat is projected to use substantially less water and land than farmed meat. And producing meat in a controlled environment may reduce the risk of harmful bacterial contamination. The Lord never had this. This don't supposed to be so, man. But the Lord said in Ezekiel 4:13, we should eat out the foul bread among the Gentiles, man. He didn't have to give us the whole science to why this going to happen or who is going to do it. We shall know these devils by their tokens. It say meat and dairy alone are responsible for 60% of agriculture's greenhouse gas emissions. And this is the whole thing talking about all this carbon and greenhouse gas. It say according to the United Nations, but while proponents of cultivated meat points to its environmental benefits by cutting greenhouse gas emissions. This is crap, man. This is garbage, man. Some experts are still debating whether large-scale culture meat industries may exacerbate climate change by contributing to carbon pollution. You see, and that's a lie, man. We dealing with Yahweh Shema Shah, omnipotent, omnipotent, man. Everything was already mapped out from the beginning. But here we got these devils, again, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4, who oppose him and exalted himself above all that is called power, man. Okay? These devils trying to play the Lord, man. So, this is that fourth industrial revolution, man. Okay? That's that carbon footprint. Tracking your food. And it ain't coming from the soil, man. It's coming from some laboratory, man. These devils, man. So let's get this. I just want to make some more points on this, man, because these devils, man. That's what the Lord say this. Computer acting slow this morning, man. This is Hosea chapter 4 and verse 1. And it says, God's controversy with Israel, right? Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel, for the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of power in the land. Now we know this applies to these devils too, okay? Because they the ones in rulership right now, man. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel, for Yahweh have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of power in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing. Now, of course, this was talking about Jerusalem, right? This was talking about Jerusalem at the time. But now this talking about these devils, man. It said by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out in blood, touching blood. This applies to these devils now. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field, which we see they doing, and with the fowls of heaven, okay? Your turkey, your chicken, yeah, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. The Lord is doing this, man, and He's using these devils to do it. He's using these devils, man, because they, uh, 2030, what's this called? Agenda 2030, controlling all resources, man. Okay, that's that fourth industrial revolution, man. A carbon footprint, tracking the food from the soil to the fork, tracking your money, where you spending your money at, what you spending it on. Isaiah. These devils are sick, man, and they gotta go. But this is what the Lord doing. He's taking away the comfort, man. He's taking away the comfort. It's Isaiah 24 and 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. You see? Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. See, these devils, hey, these devils is the curse of the earth, man. But the Lord is using them to come against Jake, man. Oh, this is Jeremiah. Let's get this. It's Jeremiah 8 and 17. And it reads, For behold, I will send serpents, cockatrices among you, which will not be charmed, and they shall bite you, saith Yahweh. Now you go to get this in the different translations. So the NLT reads, I will send these enemy troops among you like poisonous snakes you cannot charm. They will bite you and you will die. I Yahweh have spoken. You see, he's sending these devils. It's I will send these enemy troops among you like poisonous snakes you cannot charm. They will bite you and you will die. This is going to happen to two-thirds, man. They got to go back and get this. Let's go back and get Ezekiel. Ezekiel 4:16. And we watching it play out slow, man. And them that's not seeking Yahweh Shema now, man, famine coming, man. Ezekiel 4:16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment, that they may want bread and water, and be stunned one with another, and consume away for their iniquity. Because Jake don't want to repent, man. Let's get this in the NLT. It say, then he told me, Son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem. It will be weighed out with great care and eaten fearfully. The water will be rationed out drop by drop, and the people will drink it with dismay. Let me get verse 17. It say, verse 17 in LT, it say, lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror, and they will waste away until it says Salakia, they will waste away under their punishment, man. For food and water, this is NIV, for food and water will be scarce, they will be appalled at the sight of each other and will waste away because of their sin. Okay? Man. Because Jake don't want to repent, man. Let's get the next one. Ezekiel chapter 5. Let's get it here. In verse right here, verse 16, it say, Ezekiel 5:16, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. You see? So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee. And I will bring a sword upon thee, I Yahweh have spoken it. See this sword, the so-called white man. Okay, Psalm 17 and 13. Now again, the Lord said in Leviticus 26 and 33, I'm gonna scatter you among the nations, among the heathen, and I'm gonna send a sword after you. The sword is the so-called white man. He's in control of all the resources, man. The Lord put him in control of the resources for a reason, man. So let's get this. Again, Ezekiel 14. Just want to make some points on this, man. Ezekiel 14 and 21. This is, hey, this is critical, man. This is serious. This is serious, man. And if you ain't building up in your heart about Shema Shah now, we're gonna be in trouble, man. Ezekiel 14 and 21. For thus saith Yahweh power, how much more when I shall send my four sword judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword and the famine, the noisome beast, and the pestilence to cut off from it man and beast. Okay, and that's in Jeremiah 15, man, the four sword judgments. You see, yet behold, I love this verse 22, man. Therein shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye shall see their way and their doings, and you shall be comforted because of the hopeful elect, man. Standing boldly, standing firm for Yahweh Shema Shah, not wavering, man, knowing that the Lord gonna come through, and ye shall be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, even concerning all that I have brought upon it, and they shall comfort you. That's what the hopeful elect doing, man. The hopeful elect men of Israel right now is comforting the hopeful elect, man, the honorable multitude. When you shall see their ways and their doings, and you shall know that I have not done without cause all that I have done in it, except the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah power. Because the Lord say in Jeremiah 15 and 11, you got to remember this, man. It's Jeremiah 15 and 11, it reads, see it at the top, judgment must come, Salakia. It say judgment must come. So this Jeremiah 15 and 11, it reads, Yahweh said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. You see, verily I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction, man. So this is that comfort. And this is what the Lord set up. Hey, start with Elder Abba Bivens and our apostles of Great Millstone, their elders. Now we have our apostles and elders and elder bishops, man, with these confident words, man. But you got to seek the Lord now. Let's read this. Ecclesiastes 12. Gotta seek the Lord now, man. And we got time. I ain't gonna say plenty of time, but we still got time, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1. Remember power in your youth. Remember now to create in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. See, the hopeful elect don't got no pleasure in these years, man, these days, man. Okay? Hey, we're building up our faith and our hope, man. And you how about Shema Shah? Because hey, when Jacob trouble come, the elect gonna have to be on a level of being numb to everything, man. That's what the Lord is doing. That's why I tell you in 2 Timothy 2 and 3, endure hardness as a good soldier, man. Enduring hardness as a good soldier, man. That makes you numb to everything, man. So yeah, I want to make some points. When I saw that the young brother from camp had did a lesson last night, he played that clip from he played some of that clip from Epic Economists about the cattle, man. And see how they done we've been eating clone meat, man. We've been eating it. They just approved it, man. This ain't no if you eating chicken, if you eating these chicken tenders or these chicken breasts, this boneless chicken, man, that ain't no real chicken, man. That been clone meat for a while, man. Hey, if it don't got a bone in it, don't eat it, man. That mean, the Lord said we're gonna eat our food to follow him on the Gentile. We gotta pray over everything anyway, as long as it's lawful. You know, we got to pray over anyway. But man, that we've been eating clone meat, man. We've been eating that, man. Ain't no organic nothing, man. So Lord was edifying. Got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rekah Kodash. The bonds to the apostles and elder bishops and elders, great millstone, who rule well, who teach well. Whether the apostles and elders of all of Israel already accepted or not. In the sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hope for the elect. Shalom to the wealth who are listening, learning. You, for your sisters who are listening, learning. Lord, was edifying. The next time I say shalom. Well, the tuning in. May you have Shema shall continue blessing your houses. Stay prayed up. Yeah, I just wanted to make some points because the Lord is using these devils, man. Okay, the Lord, like I read Leviticus 26 and 33, the Lord said he was going to scatter us among the heathen, and he's going to send a sword after us. And the sword, as it said in Revelation, and it says Psalm 17 and 13, okay, the sword is the wicked, man. The Lord is using these devils to put 2/3 to death, man, through food, water, any other way you can think of, man. This devil is the sword of the Lord, man. And his job is to destroy 2/3 of our people, man. Okay, his job is to destroy 2/3 of us, man. Hey, so Lord willing, we be of that number, that hopeful elect. Lord willing, man. Because the Lord finna do a number on 2/3 of Jake, man. He finna do a number on these Jakes. Oh, let me close with this. In Lamentations. Lamentations 4. And these devils, hey, these devils got it right in our face, man. How they just, the Lord got them removing the food, man. Lamentations 4 and 9. It said, they that be slain with hunger are better than they that be slain. So like they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pound away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. Man, let me get this other one here. What is that? Second Ezra 15, I think it is. Let's see. It's a grievous death, man. Let me get it here. I think it's Second Ezra 15, if I ain't mistaken. Second Ezra, yeah, 16 and 22, it reads, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. You see? So many that escape hunger shall the sword destroy. So here in Lamentations 4 and 9 it reads, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pound away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. You see? So, man, matter of fact, let me just close with this. Let's close with this. Isaiah 65 and 13. Because the Lord got 4 sword judgments, man. Four sword judgments, man. This is Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Okay? Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord power shall slay thee and call his servants by another name. You see, it's gonna be a bad time, man. It's gonna be a bad time. Hey, so the for tuning in again. May you help out your mouth shall continue blessing your houses. Stay prayed up. Shalom. Wa abab abab.